Hello. I have people suggesting I should get a tripod or a selfie stick or various other things to hold my phone when I'm doing my show. I like the old-fashioned way. Random things I can find on the ground to lean my phone against. Oh, how exciting. I'm on location. Not that much location. A location I talk about a lot and I spend a lot of time at and enjoy a heck of a lot. And has really been a saving grace for me on my adventure to Yellowstone National Park, where I work as a waiter at the dining room in Mammoth Hot Springs. I didn't apply to Mammoth Hot Springs. I just applied to Yellowstone, and they assign us various places to work. And I could have been at Old Faithful or Roosevelt or I don't know. There's like 4, Lake or Canyon. But they put me in Mammoth Hot Springs, and I think that's very fortunate for me because Mammoth Hot Springs is right on the border of Yellowstone and Gardner, Montana. And I think had I spent the last 2 months in inner Yellowstone, I would have struggled more than I struggled. And fortunately, I didn't have to. I was on Mammoth Hot Springs, so I could get out and ride down the mountain and visit this little town of Gardner almost every day and keep me relatively sane. Relatively. But good morning to you. My name's Ken Tracy. It's kind of chilly. I'll keep the hat on and my coat on. Just rode down the mountain at 55 degrees. Only have a t-shirt and my coat. It was a little chilly. Again, my name's Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Sunday morning. It is July 21st. It is 7:49 a.m. Happy Sunday. It's a little show I've been doing for a while. More than a while. It's been doing it 5 years. It's 10% of my life I've been doing this show. But anyway, for a long, long time. A show about me talking and sharing some experiences and kind of sharing some ups and downs that life deals us on a daily or weekly or monthly or yearly or lifely basis. And it's a show I have a lot of fun with, and I appreciate you for joining this morning. For those that have been watching a while, all you guys were commenting you didn't see coffee. You were panicking. There's usually... I'm going to slide this back a little bit. Slide my phone back a little bit. Felt that we were crowded. Give you a little bigger view of the town, or at least that white truck. And hey, there's a mountain behind me. Hello, mountain. Say hello to the mountain. It's really RJ's dream that I take 2 sips this morning. It's really RJ's dream. This is a man that lives, he's been watching pretty regularly. It's a man that lives and dies on the number of sips of coffee I take. I mean, I do too. I respect that. But anyway, it's a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And with that in mind, I got a nice hot cup of coffee supplied by the Wonderland Cafe and Bakery. Is that what it's called? Hold on, come with me. I've been coming here for 2 months. Oh, Wonderland Cafe and Lodge. If anybody visits Yellowstone, come on down and visit. That might be backwards. The Wonderland Cafe and Lodge in Gardner, Montana. Got a lot of nice people working there. Got a lot of right on the edge of Yellowstone. You can see behind me. That would be Yellowstone and the gates to it. Down that way is a church I attended once, the school, Really cute little town filled with a lot of kind of neat little bars and restaurants and whitewater rafting because the Yellowstone River runs right through it. Neat little place, though. Place I've enjoyed a lot. But anyway, because the coffee, they were out of coffee at Mammoth Hot Springs. They only had decaf in the cafeteria. I was alert. Truck's backing up under me. Almost felt like it was going to crush me. It did not crush me. The driver was very capable, but I felt somewhat in danger for my life. Good thing he's a good driver. Maybe I'll meet him in a minute. Roger sent the cup. Well, Roger, you did not send the cup. Oh, the cap. Oh, well, Roger, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much for sending me this hat. Very appreciated from you. But anyway, it's a show about me sharing my love of coffee, and with that in mind, I got a nice hot cup of coffee in front of me, and I am so excited to have my first sip. My hope is wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh, it's nice. It's almost, well, hold on. I don't want RJ to feel bad that he didn't get his 2 sips of, or I didn't get my 2 sips of pleasure. Cheers to you, RJ. Oh, the coffee here is almost like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It's smooth and creamy. I mean, I put cream in it. Probably adds to the creaminess. But it's nice. For 2 months now, I've been working at Mammoth Hot Springs, drinking cafeteria coffee on most mornings when I first get up and when I share it with you. And wishing I had something a little different and longing for home and missing home and the luxuries that we so often take for granted wherever we call home. I call home Illinois. Thank you again, Roger. It's a nice hat. I like it. Gets a lot of compliments. But anyway, yesterday I went into the cafeteria, and I got a bunch of friends there because I'm talkative. And Diane, a woman that works there, came out and looked very concerned, very panicked, and she broke the news to me. And it was bad news. It was very bad news that they were out of caffeinated coffee in the cafeteria till Tuesday. And this was Sunday. And I was in a good mood. I just had a really nice trip out to Red Lodge, Montana and back, and stayed the night in Cook City. And just had a good couple days, and it wasn't first thing in the morning, so I was ready for such grim news. And I joked with her like she was a chief of surgery coming in and breaking the news to me at the hospital about a loved one that was needing a medical procedure. But alas, the news she was breaking, I told her, Diane, I'm sure that it was just as hard on you to break the news to me as it was for me to hear it. That's how serious we take our coffee. That is so how seriously we take our coffee here, or at least I do. And because of that, when I woke this morning, I knew a cup of decaf from a cup of cafeteria decaf. That wouldn't be enough. Wouldn't be enough, and my viewers would be up in arms if I was drinking decaf on my show. Wouldn't be right. I woke this morning after a good night's sleep, and let me tell you, it felt good waking up past 7 a.m. Oh, it felt good waking up past 7 a.m. Laying in bed going, kind of in my mind, I was mulling over some thoughts I had and some fears I had and some questions I had about the next period of my life. But then realized the situation in the cafeteria, the coffee, that I couldn't just lay around and lick my wounds. I had to get out of bed, get my leather coat on, and ride down the hill to Wonderland Cafe and Lodge and enjoy some coffee. Oh, but it's Sunday morning. Do I still live with those Romanians? You know, it's funny because I call them Romanians. I mean, I joke with them that they're Romanian. I mean, they know they're Romanian. I bring up such fascinating things to them. Hello there, as Nadia Comaneci. They're young Romanians, so they don't probably remember Nadia Comaneci, although I'm sure she's a big national celebrity still. She's probably like the George Washington of Romania. But, no, I live with one. One of them moved in with his girlfriend in a different dorm. So right now I have one roommate, a real nice kid named Stefan, who is here to work hard and hopefully save up some money where when he goes back to Romania, he's going to keep, goes to school for accounting, I believe, in Romania. So just have one. Will they visit me when I go back to Naperville? I doubt they will. They have their own lives and own, no, I don't think they'll visit me. I mean, they have their own lives and own things to do. They're probably not going to fly across the country to visit their roommate they had for a few months while in Yellowstone. I mean, very nice kids, and I enjoy, we get people from all over the world. And about a month ago, a couple planefuls of Romanian kids came over to fill up various jobs that we do here at Mammoth Hot Springs. And it's weird, the amount of turnover at the hotel and with this company, especially in the dining section, it seems. I guess I don't know about other sections. But in the dining room, we've had so much turnover. I've been here just under 8 weeks now, or about 8 weeks. I think I started 8 weeks ago tomorrow. And I'm one of the seasoned pros as far as the waiters go at the restaurant, which is a weird feeling. But time kind of moves slow at the park. And it feels, although I've only been here 2 months, it feels like it's been a lot longer than that. Long enough that when I ride around and going through the mountains that I walk by or travel by or ride my scooter by every day, I almost barely even notice. Do they have any cliff diving spots near Yellowstone? I just don't know. I actually had a customer asking me that, if they had any cliff diving spots. I'm not a cliff diver. I am not a cliff diver. It's amazing that those little wings or those little flaps they have on them somehow propel them or bring them safely to land down below. Hello, puppies. Hello, sir. Got some passersby. Hello there.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm going to keep talking, though. Will you try whitewater rafting next weekend? RJ, we never know what the future holds. And as I've talked about a lot over the last 4 or 5 weeks, duty calls elsewhere for me. And I think my kids need me back home. And I need my kids back home. And I miss my kids. And I'm formulating a plan to get back to my kids as soon as possible. And it's a work in progress, as my plans often are. And I talk a lot about fear on this show and doubts. I'm here currently. When I first came out, it was a big part money-wise. Oh, go on in. They have nice coffee and little bakery stuff.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome. Say hi to Lana for me. I bring in the customers. I could be a greeter at Costco, except they check cards. And I don't want to do that. I just want to be friendly. I don't want to be carding people. I did that once at Lifetime Fitness about 10, 11 years ago. I was working a few different jobs, a waiter at Outback Steakhouse and realtor and greeter at Lifetime, and I didn't really like my experience there. So maybe I should not be a greeter, unless I guess just get to say hello and be friendly. But I don't want to card people as they're walking in. That kind of ruins the friendly vibe. It's like I don't trust them. I'd like to just let them all in, I say. Let them all in. But anyway, duty calls back home, and I've been formulating a plan. Sometimes my plans have a lot of merit. Hello there. And make a lot of sense. Sometimes I kind of patch them together last minute and just do my best. Roger is a member of Lifetime Warrenville. Roger, if you were a member there 10 years ago, perhaps I greeted you on the way in. Job stressed me out. I'm a super friendly person, but I felt like, hello there, how are you? Hello, puppy. I think I've seen that dog hobble along before. Sweet dog. It's quite a high traffic spot I'm in. But anyway, I felt all my friendliness got sucked out as 1,000 people would walk in, and I'd go, hey, have a great workout. Hey, thanks. It's a beautiful morning. Oh, hey, stay dry. It's raining. And 1,000 little interactions. It's like dying a death of 1,000 cuts. And by the end of my shift, I had no friendliness left in me. I'd given it all away. Let's have a little more coffee. How was my ride back yesterday? It was beautiful, although it felt a little strange. I felt I was going further. I slept 2 nights ago in Cook City, Montana, just outside of the gates of Yellowstone. About 50 miles or an hour and a half long drive back through Yellowstone Park to Mammoth Hot Springs. And had a beautiful drive, but my mind was very busy. And as I'm driving through Lamar Valley, places with herds of buffalo and moose and bear and thousands of tourists with cameras and binoculars appreciating all the wildlife and all the nature's beauty, I'm sitting there riding my scooter calculating, do I really want to be in Yellowstone anymore? Do I really want to be in Yellowstone? How can I get home to my babies? How can I get back to the western suburbs of Chicago and see my little ones and my big ones and my friends and family that live there? And I did a lot of calculation on the ride, and I came up with some possibilities that are just possibilities. But I think the answer for me is no, I don't want to be in Yellowstone anymore. I don't want to be in Yellowstone anymore. I'm here for the money. And not even for the money I earn, for the cheap housing. Because as an employee here, I'm housed for $500 a month, which makes the earnings that I receive as a waiter at Yellowstone go much further, because the cost of living is so low here. And so right now, I'm here for the money. And as at my show, you need money, and it's been a good experience. It's been a great experience, to be honest with you. It's been a great experience and a cool adventure and a neat thing, and I've done a lot of great things and met some cool people. But there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And there's no love a parent has like the love he has for his children. And I've got 2 little babies that I miss and love a lot, and I cry via FaceTime. I laugh because I laugh via FaceTime every day, and I want to get to as soon as possible. So I'm formulating a plan. Casey's General wants to know if I've looked at rent in smaller western suburbs. Rent's pretty high all over. I've inquired, I've looked. What is keeping me here right now is I don't have a home or a job in the western suburbs of Chicago. And there's 1,500 miles of highway between me and home. But 1,500 miles I've done before. And can I leave whenever I want? Carol wants to know. Well, I'm not a prisoner, Carol. I'm not a prisoner. I'm free to go. I mean, they might not love it. They might not love it. But I'll tell you what, there's so much turnover here. And we lose, at least 2 waiters a week. And I'll tell you what, they are able to replace us with various people from various parts of the world and various promotions to other people that are buses and server assistants, and they're able to fill the gaps. They've learned to do it pretty well. And a little bit, honestly, that kind of hurts my feelings. I came here in May and knew a big group of the waiters that were working here and felt like we were professional waiters, and some of us more so than others. I've done it. I started waiting tables back in 1989 when most of my coworkers weren't born yet. Maybe, and not all of them, because there's a couple guys that I work with that are buddies of mine that are, in their 40s. But most of the people I work with are in their low 20s. And so most of them, or all of them, weren't even born when I started waiting tables. And I think some are just doing it for whatever reasons. And some of us, I don't know, like to think there should be a little, I don't know, different attitude or different level of professionalism perhaps in the business. And either way, they all do their jobs and get their tips and serve their food. And apparently their customers leave happy, and God bless it. But the more they fill the gaps with new people and other people, it just seems like, maybe they don't need me here. And I know back home, my kids need me, and they, their mom, not that she's trying, my gap their dad being there, has created can't just be filled by somebody that you recruit from somewhere in the country or somewhere in the world. And, I look forward to getting back. And let me tell you, when I got a thought in my mind, when I have a thought in my mind, it doesn't just sit idly. Yes, sometimes I put them on the back burner. I still want an RV. I still want an RV and would love having an RV and living in a trailer park, which sounds funny, or an RV park. Somewhere in the western suburbs of Chicago would be awesome and provide housing and mobility for me. So I still want one of those. But right now, it's on the back burner. Because, again, duty calls. And when I start thinking of something, I really move forward with my plans. God told me that I needed, I don't know if God told me or the bill person told me that I needed to, that my ex-wife needed help supporting the household, a little more financial help than I was able to do in Naperville. So that morning I left the home we were sharing and raising our kids and went to Starbucks and started looking for jobs that could pay me immediately and that I could have, take on and provide more financial support. And that morning at Starbucks, RJ, who's watching right now, sent me a link to the national parks, to Xanterra.com or XanterraJobs.com. I applied. I followed up with a phone call. I interviewed a day or two later, and they offered me a job a few days later. 2 weeks after that, I'm hopping on my scooter and heading across the country on my scooter to the Rocky Mountains and to Yellowstone National Park. And it works both ways. Managers at Casey's General pay over $100,000. I think I could be a pretty good manager. I have a very soft, loving approach to management. I encourage, I love, I lead by example, I work hard, and I come in with a sunshiny attitude. And some of you out there might not appreciate what I'm about to say next, but I also have an iron fist. And if somebody comes in with a bad attitude repeatedly, or is late, or is not working hard, or laying around, or whatever, I'll try encouragement and I'll try motivation in every way. But I get I get pissed off, and I don't want people that I work with bringing a bad attitude to work, or a lazy attitude, or a bad work ethic. And even if I'm not management, if I see it, I know it brings down the entire staff and lowers the motivation of the entire staff. So I will go off. And I will. Hello there, sir.
How are you?
Good. And I say that with all honesty. All honesty. And if somebody that's looking to hire doesn't want that, they shouldn't have me. Because I expect a certain level of professionalism and a certain level of effort. And I realize in this society, maybe occasionally you're going to need to send a text to somebody, or there's going to be something you need to check on your phone. But if you're at work and you're staring at your phone for what I deem all day, or you're sitting down when customers can see you, or laying down, or acting like you hate it there for too long, I'm not going to like it. And I'm going to let that person know. So if whoever if Mr. Casey General wanted that, I would think I'm an awesome manager, because I think I can get the most out of my staff, and I'll work hard and bring a good attitude. And I think I'd be a good manager and enjoy it. And I always feel like wherever I'm working, I own the place. Even when I was at Target, I worked at Target a year ago, and felt like I owned the Target. Target's a multi-billion-dollar company. And I've strutted around like I owned it. Probably annoys some people, but it's who I am. Let's drink a little more coffee. But anyway, it's 8:15 today. Feels good to be down in Gardner, drinking some coffee with you. I am working the lunch shift and the dinner shift today. So it's going to be a long double shift. And yeah, it's going to be a long 12-hour shift where I'll probably make a good amount of money. And I'll be really tired when I get home. And we never know what tomorrow holds. You should make a living as a look-alike president. What type of coffee am I drinking, Jason? I'm not sure. But it's coffee with cream that I purchased at the Wonderland Cafe and Lodge. Roger's spreading rumors. That'd be interesting, Roger. It would seem appropriate to make one very last lucrative day and then head off. Get myself some fish tacos. I think I'm going to move into frugal mode right now. I'm moving into frugal mode because I'm planning a journey back home. And between now and the journey back home and finding employment, I'm going to be back on a fixed budget. And Jason Baseball keeps asking favorite Newton law. I don't know. What goes up must come down? What are Newton's laws? I don't know. He discovered gravity supposedly when an apple landed on his head. I don't think that's how he really discovered gravity, but it's what we like to say. I don't know any other Newton laws. So what goes up must come down. It's a little louder here. I hope the noise of the rumbling Harley Davidsons and the cars turning around on this gritty road aren't causing you. Roger Leone suggests some sort of men's hostel that provides affordable housing. See, Roger, I think I'm going to change my attitude. I appreciate that. I don't want to live in a men's hostel that provides affordable housing. I think what I want to do and what I've learned I can do is raise my game and work hard and bring a good attitude and make a whole lot of money to cover all my financial responsibilities and live wherever the heck I want. I took this job because maybe I didn't have the confidence and hadn't worked a regular job for a long, long time. And this offered affordable housing. And coming out here, I realized I'm a pretty good waiter. I kind of enjoy it, and the money's pretty good. And I know I could go back home, work at any number of restaurants with my newfound experience and confidence. And get a job that probably pays pretty good, would allow me to continue to cover my financial responsibilities and probably put a roof over my head. I've realized some of the simplest things in life are important to me. And I find what I like to do on my days off are get out of the park. And if what you like to do on your days off are get out of the park, maybe, just possibly, I should get out of the park. And I shouldn't be at the park. Yeah. So, and some of the biggest luxuries I felt are being on a cheap hotel. I've stayed in relatively low cost, certainly not fancy hotel rooms over the last month or so. I've stayed 4 nights in various hotel rooms. And I'll tell you what, even if it's a Motel 6 or some little kind of dive hotel in Cook City where I stayed 2 nights ago, I will tell you what, clean sheets and air conditioning and a remote control and a TV and having no roommates and having a bathroom or a bathtub to take a nice hot soak in are some of the simple pleasures I miss. And I'm looking forward to getting home and seeing my kids and enjoying some simple pleasures and working hard and continuing to grow coffee with Ken and continuing to enjoy life and learn things and experience things. RJ's asking, was the hotel at Old Faithful okay? The hotel, I'm sure, is great. I didn't stay in the hotel at Old Faithful. I stayed in what's called a transient room, which sounds transient. But what it is the dorms where I stay and all the other employees stay leave some rooms aside for visitors or employees to go to other locations in the park and stay overnight. So I stayed in a room at Old Faithful that was a dorm room, but it was my own room. It had a queen-size bed, and it had my own bathroom. And let me tell you, those are luxuries you all take for granted. You all take for granted. 3 times last night I woke up and had realized, maybe 2, I had to go to the washroom and I had to get on my PJs and walk down the hall and down the stairs and then into the communal bathroom and go and then kind of reverse the walk. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting home. And I've loved my stay here. And I got a big shift ahead of me today where I'm going to be starting work at 11:15 or about, what time is it? It's 8:20. So just about 3 hours from now, or just under 3 hours from now, I'm going to be starting working the lunch shift, and then taking a short break where I get to eat a little food at the cafeteria, and then working the dinner shift. And I'm going to be working about 12 hours today. Make, for anybody curious, somewhere between, I don't know, $250 and $450 in tips for those that are curious. That's just a guess. And I'm not going to let my emotions get moved too much either way, whether it's a great day or a horrible day, or I have great tables or generous tables or cheap tables or mean customers or what have you. Because I have learned in the waiting game, it's best to take all that out of it and realize if you work hard and you bring a good attitude, you're going to end up making a good amount of money over time. And not every day is going to be the same, and not every day in life is the same. We have days where we get great night's sleep, and then we have other days where we don't sleep much and we're not feeling well. And all that's part of this grand scheme of things, and all that is okay. And the less we fight the ups and downs, the less downs we have. And the more time we spend feeling up and feeling good and feeling smiley and feeling happy and enjoying the little things like the coffee. Casey's General wants to know if I've ever had a meal at the actual restaurant. Never. Gregory says professionalism is key. That way you focus on the job and not what you're making or not making. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it ends up okay. We have international tourists that come from places that don't really understand tipping. Sometimes you're going to get a table of international tourists that might not tip you what you're hoping. But you do your best and you keep going and what have you. So, I'm going to drink a little more coffee. Oh, Sheila says, fulfill your obligation. It shows Yellowstone. It shows loyalty, dependability. I'll tell you what, Sheila, I ooze dependability from my pores. I don't think I need to prove it to anybody, I'll tell you that. The only one I need to prove loyalty and dependability to are my kids. And other than that, I ooze it. I haven't missed a shift. I haven't been late. And I bring a good attitude every day. And if duty calls me away, duty's going to call me away. So, here's to that. But what else do I have for you on this Sunday morning? What else do I have for you on this Sunday morning? Healthcare Nation podcast just joined. Amy Van Niesen just joined. Teresa De La Torre just joined. We still have a lot of people hopping on. Isn't that fun? No, I think so, Sheila. I think so. Yeah. I'm not doing it for any reason, but I cry when I see my kids every day, and they're growing up. I have little ones, and I feel no shame in that. I've worked hard and brought a great attitude and worked hard. And I've made good money. I'm not bemoaning the company at all. But I need to get back to my kids one way or the other. And when I say one way or the other, it could happen soon. And I'll tell you what, you see the smile on my face thinking about when it happens, when it could happen. And I'm not sure. I think the one thing that would keep me here is fear. And being afraid of finding housing back in Naperville or the Naperville area. And I've got a short-term or mid-term solution for that already figured out. And I've got a budget for that. And I'm ahead on all of my financial obligations, which feels good because I've over-allocated to my financial obligations since I've been here. Planning for this, I guess, in the back of my mind. And again, I think the fear that I couldn't find a job, but I don't think that's reality. The only way I won't be able to find a job at a good waiting restaurant is by staying here. And every day I work here is one day I'm not working back home. And one day later that I'm going to start working back home. And if I went back home and put on a nice button-down white shirt and jeans and maybe some fancy schmancy shoes and walked into 10 different restaurants in the western suburbs of Chicago and asked to talk to the manager and asked if they're hiring and told them I'm looking for a server position. I could get a job. But the hard thing is going on Indeed or the websites and typing in on my phone the referrals and the people I've worked with and my work history and this and that. And that's so impersonal. And I don't think the best way to get a job. And I think I could get one, in one day, certainly 1 week, with concerted effort and going into, 5 or 10 restaurants. What's my relationship like with my kids? I hope it's good. They're my kids. I love them to death, and I hope they love their daddy to death. And with my exes, I have two exes. I think my relationship is good with my exes. A good ex relationship right now, and that's hard to keep because there's a lot of stuff, and it's hard to have a relationship with your current wife or husband. You get in fights with your spouse all the time, or I used to. Maybe that's why they're exes and we're exes. Would they let me move in, at least temporarily? I do not want to move in with my exes, Roger Leone. I don't need to move in with my exes. I'm a big boy and have learned I can stand on my own 2 feet. And have created the financial situation which I wouldn't need to. Jason Baseball says I clearly have a high IQ. Well, I appreciate that, Jason Baseball. I've always thought I was on the higher end of the range. RJ wants to know if I would take a different way home. I absolutely would take a different way home, RJ. And if anyone's wondering if I've already plotted the course, oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes, I have. And I'm getting excited and I'm smiling just saying it. I shouldn't live in Yellowstone. I'm glad I came. I'm glad I worked. I'm glad I got the job. And it's been great. And I'll be able to tell stories about this the rest of my life. And it'll be experiences and learning things that I've will value the rest of my life. I was telling my dad about my trip I took the other day, and my dad's a quiet guy and doesn't share as much as I do. But I told him I was in Red Lodge at the end of the Beartooth Highway, and my dad worked in Yellowstone in 1961 before he met my mom, and was in Red Lodge when there was an earthquake here. And it's neat that my dad's able to share stories back from his childhood or his 20s and memories that he has. And these will be memories that'll last me the rest of my life and experiences I have the rest of my life. And they're great experiences, but I don't think you need to overstay anything. I tend to overstay and overtry and make things fit, make round pegs or square pegs fit into round holes. Again, I was a realtor for 17 years, and I only was doing fairly okay. And I don't know. Life's too short to overstay. You're welcome. Buy a GoPro for my helmet and live stream my ride home with a donation button. That's funny. The story of the elusive Stetson hat. Young Madre, here's my thoughts on my Stetson. I don't want one. I don't want one. I rode a scooter out here. I like less stuff in life. And when I'm going to be packing, when I packed to ride out here, my stuff was pretty tightly packed. And I don't need extra stuff. I haven't bought one sweatshirt, which I feel a little bit bad about, but Because when I ride home, I've got to travel light like I traveled light on the way out here. And I don't want extra stuff. And I need money more than I need a Stetson hat. And I don't know that I'm a cowboy or wide brim hat sort of guy. Plus, Roger sent me this Illinois hat. And I like my baseball hats. But anyway, I've been riding motorcycles for 25 years. Beartooth's on your bucket list. I got the chills hearing you say that, RJ Coves. I rode a scooter across it from Yellowstone to Red Lodge and back 2 days ago. And I think it was a perfect celebration of my visit. And if I wouldn't have ridden it on my stay out here, I think I would have regretted it. So it almost feels like the cherry on the sundae of my visit. I'll tell you what, if you've... okay, my thoughts on Beartooth are many. First of all, everywhere I ride is spectacular. When you're riding through the national parks, you're flying by rivers and mountains and scenic spots and cliffs and valleys and buffalo and moose all over the place. So given that backdrop, as spectacular as Beartooth is, everywhere you go is pretty darn spectacular. The neat thing about Beartooth, I thought, you started in a typical Yellowstone wooded sort of rivered and bridged waterfall setting, which is spectacular. But then you start going up, and the going up is like this, and you're feeling the air get colder, and you're going higher and higher, and then the trees disappear, and you keep going up. And as I planned to do, I wanted to do a video with a voiceover, and I was thinking of what I was going to say on the video, and I thought I was going to talk about Beartooth, and my thought was going to be a lot of roads go through the mountains. The Beartooth Highway goes over the mountains, and it does. It's pretty cool because, again, you're 11,000 feet up. I did a video the other day, and I posted it 2 days ago with me standing on what looked like the top of the world talking about just a short minute-long video. But if you look closely at the video, down by my feet, you see this little serpentine thing winding down thousands of feet beneath me. And that's where I'm headed. That's the Beartooth Highway winding its way up the mountain and over the mountain. And it was beautiful. And I'm riding a scooter. It's not one of those 1,000-pound motorcycles. I'm feeling the bumps, and usually on a long ride, I'm looking forward to the end of it. But I did a 7.5 hour ride the other day, and only to stop at a coffee shop for about an hour and a half on the far end of it. And the ride was the destination in and of itself. And I loved it, and it was awesome, and I'm so glad I did it. And for me, it's a perfect way to end my trip. Arcove says, I need to get out there to ride in Florida, so it's a little ways off. Dreaming stage, moving to planning stage soon, as I believe I'd say. I do say. Beartooth is about 60 miles, I think so, and it's as the guy told me, it's about a 2-hour ride if you're going to stop, hour and a half if you're not. I'm on a scooter, so I'm overpowered by a lot of things on the road, but on the Beartooth Highway, I'm not really overpowered because there's so many twists and turns, and I can handle the turns. I tell you what, though, it's hard not looking at the scenery a little bit, and that's a very dangerous habit to do when you're riding with cliffs all around you And there was one point I was doing one of these, and I felt I straightened my view out, and I noticed I was kind of heading towards the guardrail, and I said, "Whoa, Johnny, let's bring it back. Let's get back straight." You're down in Florida. There's some beautiful rides through Tennessee and through the Appalachians, I bet. That I bet you'd enjoy. But I'll tell you what, I rode from Chicago. I don't know how old you are. I think just riding across the country is an awesome experience. And not going on the interstates. Take 2-lane roads. And I don't like telling people what to do because you do you. But take the 2-lane highways across the country and stop and take your time at a bunch of small towns through Middle America and through Southern America and Northern America. And I think that was such a neat experience that I'm going to cherish. I was terrified a lot of the trip, but just an awesome experience, riding and stopping in these little towns and meeting nice people in all these little towns that you'd never have heard of if you weren't riding across the country. And when you're riding, it's so much different. When you're driving a car, you're on the interstate, you're pulling in for gas, and you're hopping back into your car, and you're getting where you're going. But when you're riding, that's really a big part of the trip, and people are friendly to people on 2 wheels and asking about where they're from, and you're meeting people and you're resting and you're not in as much of a hurry. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I would encourage you. Again, I rode across, most of the country, or at least a good chunk of the country, from Chicago to Montana on a scooter. And that's neat to say I've done. Happy you made it to Red Lodge and over the pass. I live here and I'm still in awe of it. Well, Tara Cunningham Real Estate. Yeah, a lot of people say they drove through it, and it'd be cool driving through it. But again, traveling's different by car than it is on 2 wheels. You're really in the environment on 2 wheels. And I was there 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, or 2 days ago. And so mid to late July, and there's still patches of snow. It melts pretty slow at 11,000 feet. And again, it was cool, and it wasn't nearly as scary. I wasn't terrified at all, but I did think it was awesome. And I think the trip from Cook City or Yellowstone, the 60 miles or 2 hours. It might have taken me 2.5 hours because I was traveling alone, and I stopped to take pictures or to look over cliffs or do various things several times, and just getting off the bike and taking off your helmet and taking pictures slowed me down a lot. But it was neat stopping and taking my time. I'll tell you what, on the ride back, I was getting a little scared because I was riding back on the west side of the mountains, and it was getting kind of dim and darker. It was about 8:30 at night. I pulled into Cook City at about 8:40. And as I said on yesterday's talk, there was lots of danger signs. There's signs that say falling rock. There's signs that say this is grizzly bear country. There's signs that say free range, expect cows on the road. I tell you what, when you're riding down a swervy road, you don't want cows on the road. Cows, as docile as creatures they are, they might as well be a big boulder. You don't want to hit a big boulder or a cow or a grizzly or even a deer or an elk or a moose or anything while you're riding. And I wasn't as afraid about a bear eating me, although the thought did cross my mind at 8:30 at night as it was getting dark, as I was finishing up the ride. I'd be just as scared of hitting one, because at 50 miles an hour, running into a grizzly bear, whether it has teeth or not, is not a good thing. I needed that for the trip back. I don't know what you mean, Roger. Those tacos sounded so good. RJ, you really like your food. You really like your food. More so than I. I'm not that big of a foodie. I'm not that big of a foodie. And it's funny, when I'm waiting tables, people ask me specifically, like, questions about the food. And I've never been that picky. They ask me questions I would never ask. And I think taste is a pretty personal thing. You know, some people like corn, and I'm not a big fan. And I'll have people ask me, how's the corn? It's yellow. Did you get my debit card back? You need it for the ride home. Oh, yes, I didn't get it back. I got a new one. It was funny. The very first night I'm riding out from Illinois, I left. And it's RJ's fault. He challenged me to do 10 push-ups every time I stop for gas. Somewhere in Iowa, early Iowa, on my trip, I was doing my 10 push-ups and I forgot to remove the debit card from the gas station pump, and I left it there. Couldn't backtrack 40 miles. It wasn't in the schedule, and I'll tell you, 40 miles on a scooter or 80 miles both ways is a big commitment. And everything worked out okay, and I had enough cash and had some financial assistance from my dad and brother, who helped me pick up a couple hotel rooms after I left my debit card behind, and got here safely. And I'm looking forward to getting back safely. And I'm looking forward to my Sunday. And I'm looking forward to my next cup of coffee and the next hour and 17 minutes that I'm going to enjoy at the Wonderland Cafe and Lodge. And then I'm going to take a ride back up the hill or the mountain and shower, get something to eat, clock in, go into work with a great attitude, work hard for 12 straight hours, hopefully make a good chunk of change, because I'm going to be needing it. And think about a lot of things while I'm working today. And again, we never know what tomorrow holds. And tomorrow only comes God willing. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday morning, following along on my little journey that is life. I appreciate you. I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep last night. I hope your coffee you're enjoying, as much as I am. And I so appreciate you guys for hopping on and being part of my story and helping my, being part of my show and being part of my little adventure that is life. Want to thank you for joining. I hope you had a wonderful night's sleep. I hope you're having a great, great weekend. Jason Baseball, asked a question. Post-sobriety, do I have regrets, like I missed some years because they were blurry? Those wouldn't be, I have a million, don't carry your regrets around with you. The easiest way to get past, you got to let that go. Gosh, how many nights or how many days did I spend hungover? Or how many nights did I end up getting sick? Or how many times did I make a fool of myself? Or yell at somebody or get angry because I was drunk and stupid? But you got to learn to let those regrets go. And because if you don't let those regrets go, you tend to relive them. And if you don't forgive yourself, I think you're more likely to keep doing what you were doing and having the bad habits. And once you learn to forgive yourself and let those regrets go, it's easier to move on in life in a positive direction. So I'd encourage you to let those regrets go. Sure, we all did things that were stupid. And if we were big drinkers, we probably did more things that were stupid than others. But we all have things we've done that we wish we could take back, but we can't. And so let them go and move forward in life and stop looking backwards and see what you can accomplish with the time we have left. And keep moving forward with a smile and with some optimism and with hope and with some faith that things are going to be okay. So, because things are going to be okay. So thank you so much for joining today. I so appreciate you. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're loving yourself. I hope you're forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.